Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Brady from hard rock band ENMY.
Empty spaces fill me up with holes. Distant faces with no place left to go. Without you within me, I can't find no rest. Where I'm going is anybody's guess. I tried to go on like I never knew you. I'm awake, but my world is half asleep. I pray for this heart to be unbroken, but without you all I'm going to be is incomplete.
Brady, the last time you were on my show was November 5th, 2021, over 4 years ago. And we talked about your songs Deceiver and Damn. Can you get us a little caught up on what you've been up to?
I've been up to a lot since then. Playing a lot of shows, working on new music. We have a new full length out. It's our self-titled album, and we had one of our songs just recently on the radio. It was on Octane, um, and it won the test drive, so that was pretty sweet. We played Louder Than Life. We were featured on WWE. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's happened um, in that time frame. So yeah, we're just kind of like rolling with it. It's kind of wild though. It's like hurry up and wait. Because we find out about a lot of stuff, and then we're like, oh, well, we can't say anything about it, or we can't do anything about it, and we have to just like, that Louder Than Life spot that we had. We just kind of had to wait the whole year to play it. We're like, we we had to wait months before we could tell anybody, and then we had to wait even more. We're just like, is it gonna be here? Is it gonna happen? Like, um, but yeah, so it did happen, and it was a blast. I mean, just meeting a bunch of people there for the first time. Um, I mean, I'd been to the year previous, but the whole layout had changed this year, and it was awesome. Like it, you know, there was a little hiccup with the weather, but other than that, like, they moved everything back for the day that we played, so we were able to play our full set, and it actually worked out pretty well because we were by one of the entrances, so people were walking in, and then they could stop and like, oh, who is this? So it worked out really well. So yeah, shout out to Danny Wimmer for putting us on there, and we couldn't have asked for a better time. So yeah.
So, was that like one of your goals when you started out to play one of these big festivals?
I mean, I think if you're not thinking about that kind of stuff, then like, I don't know. Like why wouldn't you be? So yeah, it's definitely something that has been on our list. Like Louder Than Life makes the most sense. It's the closest to us. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just think we want to see how far we can take this thing. I feel like, there's enough momentum and there's enough traction, um, for us to keep going, and I hope that it just keeps increasing as we go, and more people hear about us and they're into our stuff. So um, yeah, I mean, I think we just want to play as big a stage as we possibly can, and hopefully we don't get too nervous about it.
I saw you announced you had a tour announcement today.
Yes. So yeah, that we actually just announced a tour today. Um, if I can look it up right now, it's I mean it's in the South. So we're going through Florida, Louisiana, Tennessee, Texas, um, and forgive me if if I can't recall all of them at once. I should have had that pulled up. But yeah, I'm excited to go down to Florida. I've got some friends down there. I got family in Georgia. Um, and Texas. We've played Texas once before, but it'll be nice to have to not be. There's such a thing as van lagged because we were kind of like jet lagged, but we were in a van the whole time. We drove from Cincinnati all the way down to Texas, and played it come and take it. So yeah, the last time I don't think it affected us too much, but um, I can't really speak on that because our bassist did most of the driving. So, um, but yeah, I'm just excited to get back on the road, because I haven't really had a vacation. So this will be kind of a vacation, but also like you get to go out and make art and perform in front of people. So it's, two birds with one stone.
And you have Softspoken with you on that tour.
Yeah. So our manager is actually Chris, the guitarist from that group. Um, and I think he's going to be actually filling in for um, maybe 2 or 3 of the days. So yeah, he actually helped us. He filled in for our guitarist when we played in Ocean Springs, um, Mississippi. So yeah, I mean that was fun, and I can't wait to do like a part two of that. Just kind of like swapping him out, and then I it's cool that they are able to do it with us, and because we see them out on the road all the time, we're like, dude, we got to work something out. We got to get something together so we can both go out on the road, and just because Sam and I we've known each other for I don't know, probably 20 years, maybe more. So it's like it had to happen at some point. Like if you're gonna stay in the music scene and do it, then that's the way to do it. So it's just cool that we're gonna be kicking off kind of an early kickoff with our show in Covington in our hometown. We're gonna have them on that show, and then yeah, just getting ready, gearing up for January. So
Okay. Um, what's your stance on AI and music?
AI and music. Um, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's a tool that you can use. Because like, you know, it's there are certain applications that you can use it in design. Like I'm a graphic designer, so obviously I've been kind of worried about it before it even got into the music area of things, because people were like, "Oh yeah, it's coming for your job. It's going to take your job." But at the end of the day, that there's an element to things like just understanding like how AI can compute things that it takes a human touch. There's plenty of things that have um, helped artists and I mean any industry progress into doing what they do, but there's always someone that has to run the machine. There's always someone that has to put in the time and the effort and the work. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bummer because I've actually had people send me songs and they're like, "Hey, I wrote this song." And I was like, "Oh, cool. So you like sang?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "So did you play any of the instruments?" "No." I'm like, "Well, then why? What's the point?" Like I I don't know. It's for me, it's kind of one of those things where it's like why would I enjoy writing music. I enjoy working on music, so why would I write myself out of that process? I made a joke about it before. It's like, yeah, one of these days I'm going to have somebody play video games for me. You know what I mean? Because it's like if it's something that you enjoy doing, then why would you take yourself out of the process altogether? So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a place for it, but also I want there to be, it shouldn't. it shouldn't trump everybody else's uh, willingness to make music. I think it should be a tool to help you get to the next step, but it shouldn't be a crutch that you use all the time.
Yeah, it's like you were talking about you're creating music, and you're creating something from nothing, basically, when you write a song. So, you don't want to take the lazy way out and use AI to do that, because that just takes away from the enjoyment of creating it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's a better analogy for it, but it's kind of just like if you don't put in the work, you don't have the blood, sweat, and tears put into it, it doesn't mean as much to you. Um, like, I don't know. I guess just like a gym analogy, like if you're going to the gym every day, you see the results and you see the progress. It's like, it's kind of a bummer if you don't have that. You just take it for granted. And um, I think it was Andrew WK that said, nothing good is ever easy. Um, and I kind of, I agree with that. It's like you kind of have to go through the suffering to come out on the other side and to see the fruits of your labor. So
Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna talk about your new song you just released. It's a Backstreet Boys cover, Incomplete. What made you decide to grab that song?
what made us decide to do that song? Well, we were coming back from playing a show in Arkansas. We played with Josie Scott from Saliva, um, Josie Scott Saliva, and on our way back, we'd always kicked around the idea of doing a cover song, but we could never agree on anything. So um, it was just one of those things where it's like, all right, what about this song? It's like, no, I'm not really digging that, or it wouldn't translate for whatever instrument or the subject matter. That's one thing for me is like it's always been about the subject matter of the song. Like if it's something that I wouldn't write myself, like, oh, let's go to the club and let's dance, like that's not, you know what I mean? Um, so it had to have like the lyrics had to have substance. And that was a song that came up when we were driving back. Uh, Mike and I were listening to his phone on shuffle, and that song came up, and I don't know. I don't know if it was his choice or something that his wife had put on the playlist, but um and it just kind of came up. But yeah, it came up and I was like he was like, "Should we change it?" I was like, "No, let's listen to it." And then it played through. I'm like, this could easily be turned into like a rock ballad. Um so and I was just like listening to it. I'm like, "Okay, are the lyrics there?" Yeah. So it was just like all around like a full like obviously it's a well written song. Um, so yeah, I mean that was kind of like the spark, and we were like, oh, maybe this is the one that we cover. Because it was the first time that we had sent to the other guys, and we were like, all right, what do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, like we're down, like let's cover it. So it worked out really well, and I'm glad that we did it as a cover. Um, just because like it's pretty popular. It's got a few million hits on YouTube, so um, maybe some of those will translate into um, people that are checking us out for the first time. Because I know that that's how it is with a lot of these bands. It's like even bands that have been around for forever. Some of their cover songs are bigger than the songs that they make, and yeah, it's just like an entry point. So we're hoping that people dig it because I like it. I can't wait to play it live.
I actually thought about recording that as a cover like about 5 years ago. So I agree with your choice. That was a good choice, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think it turned out really well. Um, and don't quote me on this. We dropped it down a little bit, just so it's more in my vocal range. But I nerd out on that stuff. So like, I think it's cool when you can do that when, musicians are talented enough to be able to like transpose things and figure out how it's going to work out. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think the way that it sounds in my range sounds really cool. And just having that full band kick in, um, I think it's cool. I mean, that lead, I feel like the lead is a very like um, Avenged Sevenfold like ballad lead. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's enticing enough for people to check it out if they are just hearing about this.
Is there like a favorite lyric line from that song you like?
Um, I think all the lyrics are great, but I feel like the part that sold it for me was each section, like each verse and chorus and verse or bridge, um, like all of them like come in, like they all like hit when they come in, and they like grab your attention, and each part feels purposeful, which is cool. So, um, in previous bands that I've been in before, I think that covering songs is a good way to add to your arsenal. Um, so I'm hoping that some of that stuff will, I don't know, trickle over into some of our music. And like, hey, we did this before, or just kind of being able to reference things from our own songs or songs that we've worked on, as like a starting point or influence of where we can go in the future. So yeah, I think each section is just really really hard hitting. So I don't know, I just like the song all around.
Voices tell me I should carry on, but I am swimming in an ocean all alone. Baby, my baby, it's written on your face. You still wonder if we made a big mistake. I tried to go on like I never knew you. I'm awake, but my world is half asleep. I pray for this heart to be unbroken, but without you all I'm going to be is incomplete. I don't mean to drag it on, but I can't seem to let you go.
The next song is The Ledge. And I like the lyric line, there's comfort in the chaos because it's all I've ever known. Um, Tell me a little bit about that line.
Yeah. I mean, the whole song, there was two songs that I was working on at the time, and I don't know what had come up. I was listening to something, and it just triggered that idea. And I'm like, man, like that really resonates for me. And they were just kind of like I remember whatever song that I was referencing, it was like they were talking about their personal struggles, like the things that they deal with personally. And I'm like, man, this is like right up my alley. And I can write about, ADHD and anxiety and all of those things that we all kind of deal with. And it's like, maybe not ADHD for everybody, but that was just kind of like where I'm coming from, and just like the experiences that I've had in the past of like trying my hardest. And no matter what happens, like life has a way of throwing a curveball and throwing you off the track. You're like, oh, this is my best laid plans, or this is my best effort. Um, and then something goes wrong, and that's just how it is. And that's just, that's life. But um, it's once you get used to that, there's like some kind of level of comfort in it. Like that something's gonna like what is it called? Uh, no, not foobar, snafu. Um, situation normal, all effed up. Um, so that's kind of like the idea behind it. It's like you're never going to have the perfect opportunity, so you just have to kind of have to push forward and make the best of it. So yeah, I mean that's kind of I enjoy that. That's one of the songs that has been one of the heavy hitters or the top performing, just because I do identify with it so much. And yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, that's how I live my life, baby.
Yeah, like you were saying, like you plan something out and then there's some roadblocks that get in the way and you just have to pivot. Nothing goes as planned, you know. You always have to pivot and branch off and go in the different directions, but as long as you get to where you need to go, that's all that matters.
Yeah, true. And it's like it's just one of those things where it's, if you care about it enough, you're willing to put in the effort, and you're willing to make it work, in whatever way possible. Um, or maybe that's where you find out that that's not your thing and you do something else. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it rolls in the music scene. At least you gotta roll with the punches.
Also in that song, there's an awesome guitar solo. Get, were you in the studio when he was recording that?
So he had worked on that, and I was there when he demoed it. So when he like played that out, I'm like, man, that's sick. Like that's a nasty guitar lead. So I usually call it out whenever I like, if we do an interview or whatever, and he's sitting next to me, I'm like, yeah, but what about that guitar solo? Um, but it's one of those things where it just fits so well. Um, and it's just a killer, it's a killer solo. um but yeah, I one little like snippet or like ear candy thing that I added in before the solo was that breath, just kind of like stepping to the ledge, like that kind of thing. I don't know, it's just like a little accent, um to kick off that part. And then in the video, the pages are flying around in the church, um, church or chapel. I'm not sure what it was. It was Castle Morningstar up in Dayton, Ohio. Um, but super cool place to shoot. Um, and we're stoked that like it came out the way that it did, trusting the direction of our videographer. Um, but yeah, that solo, it just hits. It hits. No way around it.
Why do I let you feed on my inside? I put it off, but I'm sinking down. I try, but it comes as no surprise. It's never gonna be good enough. There's comfort in the chaos, 'cause it's all I've ever known. If it isn't going wrong, then it doesn't feel like just let fate decide.
What's your plans for uh next year? What do you plan on doing? Is there like you got more music in the works? I know you just announced that tour. Uh what do you got?
Yeah, I was actually working on some demo vocals earlier. I've been getting stuff from Mike, our guitarist, and we're like giving our input. We're like, oh yeah, this or that, I don't know. So what we usually do, we send a lot of videos and voice notes to each other. Um, so yeah, just working on music. I think our producer is finished with touring for the rest of the year, so we're going to be getting in the studio with him fairly soon. And there was talks about us working on vocals shortly after that. So that'll be the end of this year into 2026, and then we've got that tour coming up, um, and um, some other like one-off shows, and hopefully some other like cool tour opportunities later on in the year. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that this will just kind of like kickstart things, and then when we play some of these newer shows, maybe we can play some stuff that's like unheard yet. And this still in like the demo stages. Um, but yeah, just kind of like looking forward to what 2026 has in store and keeping our nose to the grindstone and just kind of working on new stuff because, you know, I think we're all itching to work on new things and get back into the studio. I miss my Grand Rapids family. So, um, it's so much fun going up there and working on stuff with John and Nick and hanging out with Morgan and Izzy and it's just a cool break from your regular stuff. You go up there, you work on new things, and then you have stories and new content that you're coming back home with. So that's always a good time.
Now, when you go in there, do you usually what kind of plan do they have for you? Do they like contribute? Do they push you? Do they just let you do your thing?
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty even exchange of ideas and feedback and whatnot. So what usually happens is Mike and John will work together before we even go up to the studio. So they're like hashing things out. He's like, "Hey, I've got this for a demo. What do you think about this?" And John's like, "Oh, it would be cool if you did this, or maybe if you went into this, it would be a better transition." And just kind of like trusting them and knowing that they've worked with a ton of huge bands like Skillet, Falling in Reverse, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, you know, if they have that kind of track record of producing for that caliber of band, like you have to, like if you're coming in there and you're like, "Oh, I think we should do this," and they're like, "Oh no, I think this is a better choice." Like, who are you to disagree with them? Because like the proof is in the pudding. But yeah, I think they do. They obviously want us to be like have our hand in things, and be creative. So um, yeah, just kind of like throwing things out there. And it's like, it's fun because I get to throw in production ideas because it's not it's not the vocal point yet. So I'm like, oh, I have this vocal idea, but I also have this idea for production. What if we did like a mechanical sound right there, or a radio effect, or those kind of things, or like a swell building into this part. So yeah, it's cool to be able to give input, but also for them to be able to like translate what you're saying. Um, and that's like probably one of the coolest things is them being so well versed that they can, if you have an idea in your head, they can make it happen. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of push and pull, but it's always like the at the end of the day, the main goal is to make the song as good as possible. So um, yeah, I mean that's kind of part of it. It's just like that kind of democracy of putting it all together, cutting out the fat, making things better than it was before. So
Okay. Um, what have what has been some lessons you've learned over the last 4 years that you would tell upcoming bands about the music industry?
um, yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things for upcoming bands is go to the people that you know have a proven product. They may cost a little bit more, but at the end of the day, that's what like don't I mean, I don't know. Work with who you can, and who makes sense and who has the best personality and you can jive with. But also try to work with people that are in your genre, because sometimes that stuff gets lost in translation where you're trying to explain something or you're going for a certain thing, but you go to a taco spot instead of a hamburger joint, and you're like, if you want a hamburger, go to the hamburger joint. Don't go to the taco spot. Um, so, and that's kind of the thing, is just kind of working with the right people, um, and figuring out who has your best interest at heart, um, and who believes in you. So, I mean, those are the big things, and just kind of like listening to the people. Like if you go in and you're like, hey, we are really excited about this. We love your stuff, um, and we want to see what we can work on with you. If they give you input, like listen to them. Like have an open mind and an open ear on certain things, um, because you never know when, you never know what's going to be a learning experience. Because like certain things have come up and we're like, oh, what if we did this? And they're like, actually, if you did it this way, um, we can use this effect or this thing, whatever, whatever the case may be. We can drop tune it, we can pitch shift it, like, so it works out. Um, so yeah, I guess just kind of go with someone that seems knowledgeable, um, and ask a lot of questions. If you have questions, ask, and if they can't answer those questions, then don't go with that person. Um, so I mean, at the end of the day, it really comes down um, to like putting in the time and the effort, doing the research, figuring out what sound you want to go with, and what direction you want to go, um, and just kind of trusting the people that you choose. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I feel like I kind of touched on a lot of different points. Um, but yeah, I mean, just trusting in the process. So
Okay. What has been one of your biggest challenges as a musician?
biggest challenges as a musician, probably um, making like personal space for myself. I try to like be as engaging and interactive with people as possible. Um, and it's so hard just because it's like the on off switch for playing shows, um, and then spending time by yourself, is a crazy dynamic shift. Just because you're so used to like being, you know, solitary, and doing your own thing or like working at your desk, like, either recording stuff or doing design stuff. And then, that change up when there's a show coming up, and then all of a sudden you're like the popular guy in town. You're like, hey man, what's going on? Um, so it's like, it's, I try to take it with a grain of salt and just like realize, everybody's got their own lives that they're living, and you know, like a big thing's coming up and they're excited for you. Um, but at the same time, it's crazy. It gets nuts when you're trying to stay focused and in the zone. You're like, it's show day and you're walking around like, so for this local show, like we'll have people texting me or messaging me on Facebook. They're like, hey man, what are you doing? Where are you? Are you going to be able to come out? You're going to be able to say hi? You're going to text, like, whatever. Um, so it's like finding that happy medium of, saying hi to all your friends and family and people that have come here to support you. But also like being able to concentrate, get in the zone, um, do your warm ups, get ready to put on a performance for people. Um, so yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest struggles that I've had personally, is just trying to find the time for myself and be like, okay, like I have to draw a line here, um, and just be like, all right, that's something that we've talked about as a band, where we're like, okay, we need to relax before the show and get our heads in the game and like be ready to go out there and perform. Um, so that's, it's just something that we have, that we're learning as we go. So, um, but yeah, I'm sure at some point it'll be a little more relaxed, or maybe it won't. Maybe we go, maybe it'll get even more strict. We're like, nobody in the green room, no alcohol before the show, no whatever. So, um, I don't know. It's just one of those things, but thankfully, I feel like so far people have been pretty respectful, and I hope that they continue to do that, just because we want to give them the best show possible, and we want to be like, we want to talk to everybody if we can. So it's like, that's, um hopefully they will return the respect that we're trying to give to them.
Yeah. I felt like maybe they were taking your lyrics, uh, there's comfort in the chaos. where you're where you're talking about it's all chaotic before the show, before you go on the show, play a show and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, yeah, that's another big thing. It's the um, if you don't have those pre-show jitters or the anxiety or just, if you don't have the butterflies, um, you kind of have to rely on the audience for that. Um, so yeah, just kind of, you know, just having them out in the crowd going nuts, like gives you the energy to do what you need to do. But yeah, it's definitely comfort in the chaos when it comes to live shows, especially for something like Louder Than Life. One of the bigger shows that we ever played, and just having our name like on the bill, um, was huge. So, I think practicing enough, um, and just hanging out with the guys and like having like team building type situations where you're like, when you get up on stage, it's more of a muscle memory thing. So you're not in your head, you're not questioning like, oh, is this going to go wrong? Is this going to screw up? Or is this going to be like whatever? So kind of like mitigating that chaos as much as you can. Um, so yeah, I mean that's practice. You gotta practice for game day.
Is there like something you and the band do like before you get up on stage? Like sometimes in the movies you see those guys do a group hug and they do a little chant before they get up on stage, or they do like a shot of whiskey and then they go up. Is there something you guys do?
Yeah. So the for Louder Than Life, I mean, I always do like a vocal warm up before the show. Um, Mike and I tend to drink a little bit of bourbon before the show. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just like just a sip, just like sipping on a drink before we go up. But yeah, I usually do my vocal warm ups, and I just try to, stay hydrated. I found the biggest thing for me is just being um, like getting a shower beforehand. It's the steam that actually helps my vocals the most. Um, so kind of like using like nebulizers and stuff like that. We obviously like all we'll do our like stretches and whatnot. Like Dave will stretch out and he'll warm up, and Trevor's just kind of like jumping around, just like caveman grunting, just getting everybody hyped up. And I'm like standing there, I'm like in the zone, like trying to be as zen as possible. Like, all right, we just need to go up there, we need to do this, we need to do that. And he's like, let's go, baby, let's go. So yeah, it's kind of the combination of everything. Because like, Trevor's the showman. He gets up there and he wants to deliver physically. So um, but yeah, I mean, every once in a while we'll do. I guess we do a like a little hands-in huddle type thing, before we play, um, just to get everybody on the same page. It feels like you need to do something like that before a show, like whether it's whatever, just kind of to give you guys an audible like kick into gear. So we have said stuff prior to shows, but it's always like, you know, I feel like they look at me like I'm supposed to say something. So I do like a little thing that I used to do in high school. They would do like Saint Genesius pray for us, that kind of thing. It's like the patron saint of acting and theater. So I feel like it's fitting. But we would always do that as like our lead in for shows or like theater plays and whatnot. So yeah, I I felt like that was pretty fitting. But I did have a little bit of a pep talk for him before Loud in Life, because it was definitely hard to fall asleep the night before. Um, but I'm just like laying there. I wasn't like obviously anxious, but not nervous about it. I'm like, we've already proved ourselves to the point that we're playing this. So we don't need like this isn't about proving ourselves. This is about delivering. Like we get up there and we do what we came to do. Um, so yeah, I just felt like that would put me in the headspace that I needed to be in. So I told the rest of the guys, I was like, this isn't the test. We've already passed the test. We're here to have a good time, and that's what we're gonna do. And we did. You know, there was a little bit of a rain delay, but that didn't stop us from doing what we needed to do. So
Okay. Where can we get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram?
Yep. So the reason that we chose our name and the spelling that we do is so we could capitalize on some of those social media links. Um, so it's ENMY music on the majority of our handles. And each one of those handles, we usually have links to our other stuff. So facebook.com/enemy music. Um, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, we're on Tidal, I mean, streaming everywhere. Um, but yeah, I mean, we just started releasing stuff on TikTok, and we do it more than we used to. We actually just did our first TikTok live at after one of our practices. Um, so yeah, I mean, we're always expanding and we're trying to reach new markets. So if you see us on something, like share it with your friends. And hopefully we're coming to one that's near you soon. I mean, they're all near you. They're on your phone. They're in your pocket. What's the one new app that popped up called, I think it's Whatnot, where you do like live sales. I've seen one local guy do it with pretzels. So he's like he makes his own like homemade pretzels. Um, and then I think Falling in Reverse has done it as well. So it's kind of like those infomercials or like the um those promotional things. We're like, oh, get this George Foreman grill, but it's like four bands and they can do it live. So it's pretty much anybody selling things. So we might do a whatnot in the future, as long as we can get enough viewers. Maybe we'll keep doing things on TikTok and making videos and branch out to that.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thanks for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, if you see us coming to one of the shows near you, um, please stop out. We'd love to meet you. But also, if you have any suggestions of where we should go in the future, um, we need those suggestions. Like if there's a bunch of people that say, hey, we want you to come to Chicago, or we want you to come to Pittsburgh, or whatever. Um, I think having that proof in the comment section, um, will help us determine where we go next. So there, we've had people say like, "Oh man, really wish you would have come here or come to Brazil." So like, we just need to have that proof of those people wanting us to go there, and then we can flesh something out.